So yeah, I have I didn't do much because I was occupied.
Yeah.
With the travel.
Don't worry, guys. DMC Spoilercast will be next week. We promise.
We can hit it right now because I did jump into that Bloody Palace for a second, and they really did change up. They changed up a couple things. And like I can see where the quality of life is. At the same time, I see the annoyingness of the song and like how that whole thing is.
Those first 20 floors, you're hearing like 30 seconds.
I feel what you're talking about with that now because now that I've done it, I can see like, you know what, battle music in Devil May Cry 5 matters more than it ever has.
Yeah.
So,
and also you're blowing through those early floors much faster.
Very,
than you
very,
did
very quickly
in 4.
Yes. So I can totally feel that complaint now. The breaker selection floors, if you're playing as Nero, are like an odd one because you're just kind of anticipating what's going to come.
The breaker selection floor is fascinating because it's telling you this is the tier list of these arms. Buster and Ragtime are broken, so you get 1 each, right?
I mean, I'm like at this point, I'm like, okay, if this is what you're showing me, and if this is what I don't know what's coming, then I'm bustering and I'm tomboying.
Yeah.
And that's my.
So the way that I understood it is the reason why you can only get 1 buster arm is because the arm breakage lets you delete 1 enemy.
Yeah.
You just remove them.
As opposed to your regular buster now. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that is all fun. I guess I wanted to get into the spoiler cast bit, but it's not so much a complete spoiler cast because there's so much to that game.
There's a lot.
There's so much to it, but there was one particular thing that I felt like I wanted to touch on, and that's the part that's most interesting to me, which is hilarious because in a fucking Devil May Cry game, like why would the story matter at all? But I think there's some meat to chew on here. So I'm going to be spoiling Devil May Cry 5. If you're interested in not having that spoiled for you, you want to tune out now. So upon saying that I beat the game, got a message from my boy Soul Carl, who basically went, "Hey, dude, I'm sorry, but I'm about to upset you. And I'm just gonna say, V, better character than Vergil. Don't attack me. I'm sorry, but it's true." And I grabbed my keyboard, and my brow furrowed, and my nostrils flared.
Yeah.
And I pulled up my fingers, and I started typing, "You are correct."
Yeah.
Because V is a better character
much
than
more
Vergil.
interesting.
Because he's a character.
He's not the reverse of Dante.
He is not.
He's
right?
a different person.
And it's so interesting to me to have this giant chunk of personality out of nowhere inserted into the story and given more characterization through his scenes than the prior games combined, right?
He's given more characterization than the other 2 main characters.
And quite frankly, like while we're on this, you have to applaud the script in this game. I mean, the credits the credits roll on for swearies in those fucking credits.
Isn't that crazy?
Right? Like everyone's in those because they outsource to everybody. But for just the writing and the script alone, that you can tell they've revised and revised and revised, and they really wanted to get it down. And they got it down to the point where what few lines are given to Lady and Kyrie do more for them than entire previous games about their stories.
Lady gets the line about her dad.
And
that's more than she got. Like that
in the story about her killing her dad.
Yeah, it's great.
And Kyrie on the phone with Nero,
no in-game model.
Just
no in-game model,
right? Gives you more than her being damseled in 4.
Yeah.
Like, it really gives you something to chew on, and the absence of the rest of what they would have to say.
Yeah.
You feel as if in that one line, you're like, I could sit and have you on I could watch you sit on a bench or a stool and just talk a bit about what happened after your game happened.
Yeah.
And where you got to as a person. Those lines are that, you know what I mean? You're like,
I completely agree.
That's great, right? So V comes along and gets spit out as this fucking, as we talked about, this goth kid, this William Blake loving nerd.
Yeah.
You know, you want to shove him in a locker. And, and
no, my mascara.
You know, and the whole time there's these bits where you're just like, okay, but what was his plan actually, right? And then I really had to sit and think about it, and I feel as if you're like, was he kind of like playing them from the get-go? Is his remorse sincere? A lot of questions are up for grabs, and I think what you're actually looking at is, it seems to be that he is legitimately sorrowful,
But
he does not want to die.
yeah.
And the important part is that, unlike a lot of other times where you look at somebody that's like, look how many times a story will do something where a character is sorrowful for their past actions,
Yeah.
and thus they are nigh suicidal in their current actions, and you can almost explain the nonchalance badassery of someone who's just like foolhardy and running into danger.
I don't care if I die.
Because when you get them at a vulnerable moment,
Yeah.
they tell you about how they did something horrible, and they quite frankly think they deserve death.
Yeah.
So them running into it and embracing it is just their... We've seen that, right?
Yeah.
You very rarely see someone remorseful for what they've done, but also desperately clinging to survive, right?
But that power, though, man.
And the fact that, like, this is a game about these characters brashly and foolhardy in their stylish style beasting, running into danger and literally laughing in its face.
Yeah.
Whereas this dude is like, oh fuck, we can't handle that right now.
I'm melting.
And even before that the melting, he's caning his way away from
Gilgamesh.
as he's like, oh my god, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die, right?
Yeah.
The fear of his mortality is so present the entire time, and it's just as strong with him as the remorse he's feeling.
Yeah.
Right? He gets to the point where you have the actual conversation with Trish, who's like, I'm not your mom, V, right? You have that moment,
Fuck off,
etc. And he'd be like, was this fool before you, right? And he's like, like, the answers are not gonna be found here, and maybe they lie within the heart of battle. Who fucking knows, right? Only you know yourself as a person, and what you were before, and whether or not you think you're worthy of redemption, right? Now, we as an audience look at a character like that, and usually when someone's presented in that way, oftentimes you're like, well, the fact that they're questioning it makes me relate to them, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they've earned it. However, the sincerity and the spirit of, like, forgiveness makes you think, you know what, a character like that deserves redemption, right? Urizen, on the other hand,
is everything bad about Vergil in one thing.
And it's the irredeemable parts of him as a character split into its own, right? And he has nothing of substance to say, because what the fuck are you?
I'm a big monster!
I will show you. You're nothing. You're just an endless grasp for power.
You're a
right?
Kamen Rider villain.
And the fact that you literally grasp that power, crack that fruit in, pop your sin DT, or not yet,
whatever.
But you know, you obtain ultimate power, and it fails you, and you're still lying there going, power! It's like, yeah, you're nothing. You're fucking nothing. And that desire, right, is so powerful that it is if you have to look at if you have to look at the breadth of, like, what makes up V as an interesting character and the different things going on with him, and then you just replace all of those folders with one that just says power. That's how powerful the desire inside of Vergil was, to just be, I need more.
So V seeks power as a solution to his problems, and that's his human half, right? Urizen desires power for its own sake, and that is half of his entire personality.
And
so it's like 75% power.
So
right?
It literally is erasing what personality was in Vergil.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just this fucking obsession.
Yeah.
Right? To call it unhealthy is the understatement of the century. It is like, you're a shell. You're fucking nothing with your stupid desires, right? So now you go, okay,
Vergil is actually just pretty insecure.
So you go, well, even before that, you go, so now, while they're still split, you're like, what is V's actual intention here? And it's like, it's to survive, and possibly right his wrongs, but more than anything, he's playing both sides, knowing that the good guys are probably gonna win.
They're probably gonna fix the problem.
I need to get there before they do, otherwise I'm dead forever.
Yeah.
And I don't want to die. Dying sucks.
There's
afraid.
a line in his last mission is like, I have to get there before he loses completely.
Exactly. I am afraid of death, right? You get the fact that like he's calculating this down to the second.
Yeah.
Right? And the best part about it is how it explains that look on his face when Nero eats shit in the beginning.
Yeah.
And V is like, fuck. Do I just go in now? No, he's gonna.
They super lost.
Right? He has that moment of like, I don't want to die. I want to right the wrongs. He's right there.
But now I have to kick the plan down the road 3 weeks. I don't know if I'm gonna be alive in 3 weeks.
Or do I maybe even just throw it all out because my desire to survive?
Yeah.
Right. The fear inside me is so great that I'll just be like, "Hey, Urizen, what's up?"
And it's interesting because you compare that to Dante, who has like who could not have less self-preservatory instincts of any character I've ever seen, as he is functionally invincible.
Yeah. I think that facial expression was literally him calculating, should I just say fuck it? I'm afraid of dying.
Yeah.
Is this not going to work, right? It's such a good fucking moment.
And I really love the ending of DMC5 because they wrap up everything in a neat little package and then go, but here's 6 different paths we can go.
Let me get there. Let me get there.
Oh, okay.
So he gets to the point where they're now lying at the body, and it's like, Urizen, what has this gotten you? Fucking nothing.
Nothing. You lost!
Right? And ultimately, like, Vergil, what has this gotten you? Right? Vergil, someone who has been there the entire time, seen the ride, and in these moments is basically like, if you take the fucking, you take the Urizen side of his brain and you have him go, what's the line he throws at Dante? You've never lost anything.
You've never lost anything.
Right? And the obvious answer is he lost you, asshole.
And your mom also. Like,
yeah, you both lost the same.
You know the defining aspect of your life.
Yeah.
That all
you both lost the same things, except
what the fuck
he
you
lost
about?
you because of your shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're so full of shit.
And so like he's willing to ride that Temeniguru all the way to the top. He's willing to open up hell, get what he needs to, take that revenge, do what he's got to do. Right.
Yeah.
He's doing the whole thing, and now you get to the part where you're like, okay, you lost as Vergil, you lost as fucking Nello Angelo, you are disintegrating and you're about to die, and your desire for power is so great that you are basically like, you know what, fuck it, I am going to just go get that fruit, I'm going to put this plan into action, and I'm going to plant the fucking Qliphoth. Qliphoth does its thing, sacrifices an entire city.
So here's the thing. Apparently, if you dig into the library,
it does it on its own.
The Qliphoth is natural.
It does it on its own, and the whole point of Sparta was dividing that so that he could offstay that natural thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Nonetheless, right, I'm going to put the human-eating tree in the place where it's going to grow and do this thing.
No, I don't think Vergil planted it.
I'm going to benefit off of creating this existence and rooting myself to its power. Right? The Qliphoth becomes his way of bringing himself back from the brink of death and riding it all the way to the top. Yeah. Right? He has no remorse for the actions he's doing, which in this case, unlike the others, like the other cases of like almost you can make it circumstantial. In this case, there is nothing circumstantial about it. Urizen is a fuck. You're killing people for power. Right?
When I say the tree is naturally occurring, I legitimately mean I believe that tree was going to happen, Vergil or no.
No, because the point from what I understand, the point of Sparta sealing off the worlds was to make that not be able to happen anymore.
Yeah, but the worlds keep
Mundus
on sealing
did the
all
thing.
the time.
Yeah, well, but getting the Yamato allows you to abuse that shit.
Yeah, but
guess what wasn't happening? The world wasn't coming together.
I really wish there was an answer in game for this because it's actually fairly unclear.
Dude, the world, the Yamato being inside of Nero's arm meant that shit was not going to happen, right? So,
but But he used that to split himself. Did he use that to unlock the Qliphoth?
Okay, but it's like, what do you want to say then? So Urizen is faultless for riding this situation out.
Well, no. I think
it?
a much more interesting question is: did Griffith? Fucking Jesus Christ! Did Vergil kill one person ever?
I'm sorry, this is so weird to me because, like,
did he?
It seems quite clear that...
Are you sure?
How are we even questioning this? This is so fucking crazy. Of course Urizen's the fucking bad guy. He's totally responsible for killing all these people.
But is he just chilling in the tree, or is the tree attacking people on its own?
All right. I think that's stupid. I think that's asinine. Right?
Then you should argue with the game's library that says that the tree naturally occurred.
It is a thing that occurs that Mundus did use, but you're telling me that the fact that
because I thought that it was really
the month that he shows up and all this rides out is not his plan.
Yeah, because he starts talking about that he has very little time left, and that could mean him, or it could mean that he knows that the Qliphoth shit is going to happen. But regardless of that, do you remember your complaint during the end of the LP that was really weird, where everyone is acting like Vergil did nothing wrong?
Yes.
Is that because he actually did nothing wrong?
That's where I was trying to go, because I have a really good thing that I've concluded based on that, right?
All right.
I have something that I really think makes sense, putting that all together, that feels like it's intentional.
Okay.
And the problem is if you're trying to tell me that, oh no, Urizen actually did nothing, and he just sat there and wrote on the
juice.
and he wrote on the benefits of natural karma killing everybody, then I guess the real villain was the tree, which we get to... That's nonsensical to me. That's insane, right? He's literally sitting there. So he's talking up a bit game. I will show you not your worst nightmares. I will give you despair and death.
Yeah.
Right. All of that and everything going on. It's
but
just
that
like,
was self-defense.
Right. I'm just writing this out.
Woolie, that was self-defense. Nero cut him.
Okay, well, anyway, that's not where I was trying to go, so I don't know what to tell you.
All right.
I had something lined up that I was trying to set, like...
Well, let's go there, then.
Okay, well, what I'm trying to establish is the fact that, so he's fucking, like, sitting there because your desire for power, and the fact that you have... sacrificed absolutely everything to get to this point.
Yeah.
You have Griffithed it.
Yeah.
Right? The Behelit is the Qliphoth.
Yeah.
Right? And I see that type of parallel as one where you're willing to, like, you're talking about protecting things as Vergil, but ultimately when you split it off into its raw form, it's not about protection. It's about
I just want it.
It's about just desire. It's about lust, right? It's about greed. It's not has nothing to, like, you mix it in with what's left of V, and it becomes protection. It becomes defense.
It becomes Mamoru.
And it becomes a Mamoru kind of twist on the
But
on the
really,
idea.
it's just I want it.
And that's the one thing that it becomes something that allows you to accept it for what it is. But Urizen exposes it for its rawness. It's just a selfish desire, right? He fucking sits there. He stabs the thing in. Dante, who twice now could have just tricked to fix the situation.
Or shot him.
Chose not to, but whatever. Dante has a really good habit of just going, wait, in the plot moments. But, you know.
No, don't.
He almost...
My favorite is...
He takes 2 steps.
Dude, the best is when Vergil comes back and Dante throws the sword to his side and goes, "Get out of my way, Nero!" And, like, Nero is, like, to the left and kind of behind him. And it's like, what do you... Are you just saying that for drama?
So, they come back together. Alpha and the Omega drops, yes. Overblown title, yes. But he is the beginning and end of Dante's story. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. Vergil's now back, and it's like, yay, there he is. There's the boy, right? And everyone's treating him like, yeah, it's Vergil, he's back. And he's acting kind of like, yeah, I'm back, and I'm a little bit different.
It's almost like I'm a completely different person.
But you're like, but the facts remain, you're a fuck. You are so guilty. You have so much blood on your hands.
But does he?
And we can't write that off. Let me at least get there.
All right.
So he has this entire thing now where one half of you did the worst.
Yeah.
And is essentially irredeemable, which I remember calling sitting on that couch.
Yeah.
The moment it happened, I'm like, this doesn't write what you did. You went too far.
Yeah.
Right? And the way that Dante acts to him when he pops out feels as if Dante himself is like, dude, you went too fucking far. Right? All of the lines Dante's throwing out at him are really like, this isn't just one of those, hey, what's up, nice to see ya, or who's this villain? You're kind of cool. Oh shit, I didn't know it was you. This is, dude, what the fuck were you thinking, right?
Yeah.
This is, don't you understand that literally all your stupid angst is over nothing because mom cared about you too? Like, why don't you get it, right?
Yeah.
And then ultimately it's, I literally can't trust you to your own devices, right? You can't be trusted, right? You're just, like, it's Dante getting to the point of, I'm sure somewhere inside it's nice that you're back, but also, fuck, man.
I literally need to babysit you for the rest of your eternal life.
Fuck, right? And that, to me, lends credence to the idea that Dante thought he went too far, which wipes out the stupid idea that Virgil's not responsible.
I don't know,
for the
because,
actions.
like, I get what you're saying there, but the tone does not support it.
Right? So, that side of things exists. And to me, now you go, all right, so Virgil's guilty and thus he's not redeemable here. You're like, but wait, hold on. What about V? What about the experiences of V? What about the fact that this other character, on its own, in an isolated bubble, in an isolated system, I love saying it because it's a Muse reference, but V is someone who is redeemable, right?
Sure.
Who has walked the path and is trying to right his wrongs with what little time he has left, except he's not doing it selflessly because he has a desire to survive.
Yeah, okay.
So what happens when you fuse those two together to create the same person, right? And like literally this one has more depth than the original did.
Yeah.
Well, you get a situation where, to me, it seems like you don't deserve to continue to exist, and not to mention, like, you're a shitty dad and you're the worst at that shit.
He
right?
forgot that he even banged a
literally
chick.
just doesn't even.
Oh yeah, I did fuck that
right?
broad.
You're super garbage about that whole thing, right? But before he even actually knows who Nero is, the first thing he says before he walks into that portal is, "Thank you, Nero." Mm-hmm. So you go, "Whoa, what's that about?" Right? And it took a second. Here's my conclusion. That is V thanking Nero for the experience they had together.
Absolutely.
Right? Which means the memories of V exist within Vergil.
Oh, 100%.
Which is why he changes and questions things in a way he didn't, and so on. So the two come together, and someone who is redeemable and someone who isn't become the same person. Great. So you're writing a story. What kind of outcome does that person deserve? Well, Urizen deserves an end in death because you've done the wrong.
Bad.
Right? V deserves a happy ending, if not like one where he gets to go to a metaphorical heaven, but you don't quite get that. He deserves life. Mm-hmm. One deserves death. What can we do to compromise that? How about a Valhalla-esque, like, it's not quite heaven, it's a little bit of purgatory, it's not quite hell. You're literally in the middle because you're not getting to exist in the world with your new son that you just found out about.
Yeah.
You have feelings for him. You have sentiment because V has established that. Mm-hmm. You drop the fucking book for him because clearly now you are tsundere, but you have some connection there.
Yeah,
but
tsundere dad.
But you're not allowed to stick around and ride out this relationship. You don't get to exist in this world for what you've done. You get to exist in a purgatory of sorts. A limbo, but you do the one thing that you love more than anything else for eternity, which is you and Dante get to fucking fight.
Okay.
Right? So it's the way you take someone who deserves more and someone who deserves less, and you put them together, and he gets an outcome fitting of both characters smashed together, where it's not quite heaven and it's not quite hell, but it's something that you can live with, and it's, in theory, for eternity.
All right. So,
I think that's great. I love that idea.
I think 99% of that lives in your mind.
Okay.
And that it is, Vegeta was really bad, but then it turned out that they were able to undo all the bad he did, and then him and Goku went and trained in hell until the sequel.
Okay.
Like, I think it is literally that simple. And I think you going down this insane rabbit hole of redemption and different... It's like, no, Urizen was the bad part, and he died.
Yes.
And V was the good part. And now Vergil remembers what it is to be good. So he is a changed person.
But does Vergil die? Sorry,
Old Vergil is dead.
Does V die?
Yeah, no, V is now integrated.
Then that means Urizen's not dead either.
Sure, fine, whatever. But now he understands what it is to be guilty, so he is a better person, so that him and Goku can go fight Cell in the sequel. I think that is what the ending is about.
I mean, if you're gonna throw the fact that a sequel's existence is as a lock in this way as a core point.
Look at the ending of that game where they go, Nero, you handle things on Earth. Trish and Lady, I have a job for you. Hey, Vergil, Dante, guess you're fighting in hell forever.
It could be.
Like,
it could be.
No, it is leaving everything open so they can do whatever the fuck they want.
At the absolutely, there is always a things need to remain open.
Yeah.
Right. And it will have the same thing anytime we talk about fucking Persona or any one of these places where you're like, yeah, vague is good because it lets you build off of it if you decide to, right? If you don't, for what it's worth, I'm assuming the writers, and I'm assuming the people who are putting this game together are putting it together in its own.
I think they intentionally left it unclear, like the argument that we just had, whether or not Vergil actually ever, and I mean ever, killed even one person so that they can write it off later where he's had a change of heart, so it's all fine. Because that's the way Dante acts.
This is what I hate right now, because it's like now there's probably way more places to go with this conversation that we can't go because we have to literally like wait for someone to scroll to point out after this podcast is done.
I read
this one piece. I read it as well.
The Clifot occurs naturally.
Yes, but it also seems like the Clifot occurring in this case was something that Mundus took advantage of, but it seems like that not happening for the longest while was based on Sparta's actions to save humanity. So what I'm trying to say is that the fact, like, I think Urizen came along and undid that.
I don't think he undid it. I think he just took advantage.
Well, and this is where we can't go anywhere.
No, but that's my point. I think that I think that is unclear, so that they can go, yeah, Vergil totally killed all those people and he was evil all along. Or, you know, Vergil was just kind of misunderstood. Now he's wearing a pink shirt that says "Bad Man" on it, and
I mean, look, I'm the kind of person where I'm always willing to hear out the possibility that I'm wrong in what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Right? I'm willing to compromise if there's facts that present it otherwise. I'm not going to sit here and double down just because, yes, it's the funnier way to go, sure, but I'm realistically looking at this as I feel like this story written top to bottom for itself, for the script that is Devil May Cry 5, not necessarily knowing what's going to happen later, but wanting to potentially conclude this storyline, does this in a way where you have two halves of the same character that each have their beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah, so what I feel about that, genuinely, is that since V's experience, like on that level, since V's experiences changed him and let him grow as a character, Vergil is good now. He's a jerk, but he's good.
Yes.
Done.
Vergil gets to benefit from V's growth.
Yeah, but like...
And Urizen's loss... Right?
Yeah.
You would have maybe questioned whether he would have learned, but he didn't. Because up till the last second, he was clawing for more power after eating the fruit, to the point where I'm almost of the opinion that the way V's talking before he stabs him is one where he has to convince Urizen to let it happen.
Yeah, he has to convince him to
do
it.
Because Urizen, if Urizen just probably didn't want that, it probably wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Right? He has to say, let me come back in. You're about to die. You have nothing left. Right? That's what I think. And that's the thing is, I think V, waiting for that moment, knows that it's only in the moment where he knows there's nothing left, that the only sign of power he'll have is the weak ass little goth kid standing on his chest, is where he'll accept him.
But what I'm talking about is like the reason why I feel that it is literally just as simple as Vergil good now. Okay.
Because if they showed Urizen planting the tree, it would have made it...
No, not even that. Not even that. Is that the way Dante talks to him is just give me the Yamato.
Yeah.
And it's not like... And when Nero goes to fight them, it's not, hey, Vergil, you killed 1 million people. It's, I'm not going to let you two kill each other because you're family. And then they go and leave, and they're like... you know, you are pretty funny. And like, there's no animosity, there's no anger.
But he does say, someone's got to keep an eye on your old man.
Yeah.
Can't be trusted with that thing.
Yeah. Because he's done stupid portal shit in the past.
Yes. So effectively, like...
It's, okay,
it's not as explicit. It's definitely not as explicit as it should be for the purposes of like, well, we don't know if they want to go anywhere in the future with this.
Yeah.
And you're right in the sense that if they showed the fucking they could have showed the planting to really hard lock that in there.
But here's the thing:
the plausible deniability. I hate the fact that you have to say that there's plausible deniability there.
Woolie, I'm gonna go on a different path here. Let's say Urizen plants the tree, right, and uses the Yamato arm to do all that shit, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's very clear that Nero and Dante make a distinction between what Urian does and did,
Urizen?
Urizen. What Urizen does and did, and what Vergil is, because they clearly do not blame Vergil for Urizen's actions.
The way they treat him is more amicable than Urizen, but still like, God fuck, we can't really trust you.
Well, no, because he's a dumbass and he's a jerk.
Yeah, which is basically the fusion of the two.
But he's really tough, and we need to go to Namek later. So, like, Frieza's back. Like, and they also have a weird problem.
I mean, I hear you, but it sounds like they're treating him like he's V and Urizen together.
I know. They think they're treating him like Vergil from Devil May Cry 3, who's a jackass.
Who is a jackass.
And also, you didn't see anyone get crushed by the Temenigru. All those buildings could have been they have literally set it up in a way that they could literally go.
Arkham was going to do it anyway. Vergil just helped.
Vergil doesn't even get to kill Arkham. He tries to kill him, and Arkham survives. Like it is,
dude. Like it's like so the Temenigru and everything in that city.
Oh, they're all empty. They're all
yeah.
Just like when Superman punches Darkseid through all those buildings.
So, but and like all the the demons literally coming up to Dante's door down the street from him. Mind you.
That's right.
Right, him being in that city.
Actually, that was Arkham that did that. It's funny, yeah.
Everyone was fine otherwise. Yeah, okay.
Woolie, I agree with you. I really do. But the game is pretending.
Yeah.
They're pretending because Dante doesn't care. He really doesn't care.
They could do more. They could have easily done more to show you.
Remember in DMC3 when he has the speech at the very end of the game and he goes, I need to stop you because you're a bad person? Despite the stakes in this game being way higher, that doesn't happen.
I mean,
he gives that speech to the big evil gross demon, not to the person.
Urizen talking about how you will resent being born human and weak. You don't have devil's power and whatnot. Is him basically talking to himself, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Being like super duper butthurt about being partially human, despite the fact that in the end it turns out that the more human you are, the better off you are.
Dude.
With being a devil conductor.
I really love that everyone has come to like a generalized agreement that it's under Saiyan rules.
Yeah.
One
drop of demon blood
lets you DT.
Yes, and the rest is based on how much human is in you.
Yeah, and it's feeding you power constantly.
So it's actually way better.
You're a mini Clifot.
It's way like Nero's kids are going to be better than Nero.
Like Nero caught up to the most powerful characters in the universe.
Yeah.
In like a week. Look at all the shit Vergil and Dante had to do in that game.
Yes.
And Nero just caught up because he felt real strong.
Unstoppable Octoroon Devil Trigger.
Yeah.
Like when you get to the point where 1/8 of your blood is slightly devil.
Oh man.
It's even better. Right? The world is heading to a good place where the sons of Sparta are unstoppable as they become more human.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing they ever could have done was crossbreed. And defy the time cube.
That being said, I don't know what they do in the future with Don. I really do feel like a good part of that ending is to like kick fucking Dante and Vergil out to pasture, because like I don't know what there is to even do with those characters, as they're both they're now like the strongest shit ever that's ever been. Like in DMC4, they talked about how Dante's stronger than Sparta ever was, and he's like 100 times stronger than that now. Like
Now, would you say that
just go kill hell?
Would you say that this is a similar situation of like we want to say more definitive things, but perhaps we won't based on not knowing what we'll do in the future?
That's absolutely what I think it is.
Fine. Well,
I absolutely think there could have been a much more definitive thing.
Yeah.
But they wanted to leave a situation open where every playable character, including V, can return in the future.
Well, removing the desire for that obscurity, I think what that fog of war is hiding is something that I like that's close to what I've described.
I
feel that like yes, it could just be coincidental and it could just be like events playing out the way they do. But I think when someone that knows how to write a script and write a character that has flaws and has a journey that they're supposed to sort of complete, you kind of try to have these arcs for them, right?
Sure.
And I think that when you have someone like Urizen come along and be like, V is so much more real of a person than Vergil ever was.
Oh, absolutely.
But Vergil makes V is to Vergil as Vergil is to Urizen.
Okay.
Urizen is nothing.
That's right.
He's absolutely nothing as a character, right?
He's a monster of the week.
Yeah. And I think the fact that Vergil original has a bit of humanity and is leaps and bounds above whatever you would call Urizen, and V being the most human is leaps and bounds above Vergil, is practically intentional because it's so much of a gap.
Of course. But at the end of the day...
So I think it was written in a way that they wanted to conclude these 3 arcs.
I completely agree. But at the end of the day, Nero is more angry at fucking Vergil for being a deadbeat than he is over the supposed millions of people that he killed.
I mean, you know, and I think, again, I think you just have to read into Dante saying shit like, you can't be trusted, you're old man, I gotta keep an eye on him, give me the sword, whatever. Like, I think...
See, you know what I interpret that as? Dante is looking for any excuse to leave.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Because Dante is played as depressed.
Yes,
whenever he's not fighting demons.
But the whole depressed Dante narrative is just as like it's the same. It's coming from the same place of
but
what
there's
I'm
nothing
putting
conflicting
forward
with that.
I mean, like the idea of him like actually walking around and frowning and whatnot. It's very clear that you can go. The early games didn't quite have this character down yet.
No, they didn't.
And then you just retroactively fit it, and guess what? Hey, it works. Right?
I don't know, man.
And it's fun.
Dante
and
just chilling in an office with no power for however long.
And it's fun to think about based on this being something that retroactively explains the past and retroactively explains like a franchise learning what its character should be.
Yeah. Whereas
in this case, you know that somebody sat down at a computer and literally wrote out the beginning prequel like novel of DMC5 all the way through to the end credits. You know, in the same sitting.
Yeah, and when Dante's not fighting anything, he's kind of just chilling out and being bummed out and reading magazines.
Yeah, he's just sitting around doing his thing and Devil May Cry.
But when he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go fight Vergil in hell forever," he's like, "Ha, yay!"
I'm not like saying that theory. I'm not saying that theory is false because I buy into it as well.
Yeah,
I think it's real and I think it's fun. But I do think that you're left with it's not explicit enough. There's no actual moment where you see Dante sitting staring at his shoes, and then a client walks in and he goes, "Whoa, hey, ho, pizza!" Like, you know what I mean? Like they didn't expressly.
That'd be so good.
I know, and that's what we want to see, but they didn't actually put that on camera, right? In such a way where you'd go, "Oh, that's definitively what they're doing."
Oh man,
right? We're just going there based on our observations and also looking at the previous games. I'm in that same space right now.
You never get that
right?
feeling from Lady or Trish either. Like they seem like when Dante's not around and they're not murdering stuff, just chilling, having a pizza, talking, whatever. But you never get like what I mean.
The raw surface of Devil May Cry is not meant to have this type of thing going through it underneath. You know, it's not something where like, because if they wanted it to be more clear, they would make it more
Anime's
clear.
canon.
Anime's canon.
That means Dante's depressed.
Okay.
Period. Done.
Okay.
The what you're talking about him being staring at his shoes.
Yeah.
That is like every 2 episodes in that anime. He is like depressed eating ice cream.
Okay.
Like that 100% canon. And in fact, he's trying to get away from Patty in his introduction in the thing.
Right.
From the anime, and he's like, I don't want to see people. I don't want to go to a party.
Okay.
I just want to either sit here or go kill shit.
Okay. That's cool. I thought that most of that was coming from not the anime place, but considering they work those characters in there, that makes a lot of sense.
There's a little hint to that where one of the mission finishes is him depressed in the van eating a sundae in DMC5, and he's just looking at a chocolate sundae with like Dante is a depressed eater. When Dante is depressed, he eats ice cream.
Yeah. So, but that's pretty much it. You know, like that's the one thing I just wanted to touch on was I thought there was
when Virgil's depressed, he wants power.
Sure, which is all the time. I felt like V was written as a character that has like an introduction, a middle, and an ending, as you would for this type.
V was written so that female fans of Devil May Cry can fucking blow their seats off with gushing.
That too. Let's go watch any Gundam franchise with boy bands in the lead.
Because Dante and Vergil and Nero and all that, like I could see them like having a certain appeal, but like clearly it's been established that V is where it's at.
Yeah, and it's been established that the parts of him that are V are the parts that fucked.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Urizen side of him
V knows what
that
sex
got
is.
laid. V is the side of him that got laid.
I saw a really funny tweet. I know it's way off topic, but it was just like, stop kidding yourself, you horny fuck. Sex isn't real. Your mom kissed your dad, then the bird brought you, you fucking idiots.
Right.
That's great.
And there's these this hilarious post 5 world of like fucking Vergil awkwardly rejoining this cast is hilarious.
Yeah,
because he's such a weirdo. He's such a complete and utter weirdo.
It's really
so it's funny and amazing how successful they were at conveying the weirdness of this kid from 3.
You know what? It really
in a further context where everyone knows how to awkwardly write him into the rest of the world.
I really feel like it is very like post Majin Buu, like fucking Vegeta, where hey, remember Vegeta did all that shit, but we fixed it. So you're cool now. Yeah, I'm cool.
Well, and then you can give him lines like "Me and the Namex have a troubled history," and then people go, "Oh, that's good." That's good, because you know what that is? That's a little bit of growth.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get a whole lot of it.
So if we get a sequel that has Vergil in it, I bet you that the redemptive arc is going to just continue.
Well, here's the thing, right? There's never been a time or a place where a sequel couldn't come along and completely fuck up something that existed or was established in the previous franchise. For example, anyone who watched Gundam Seed and is familiar with the character Kigali knows what happens to her in Gundam Seed Destiny, right? We can go to the biggest, smelliest, literal shit pile and show you that a sequel can try to set something up, or rather a series can try to set something up, conclude it, and then decide, you know what, we need more content, so we can just double down on it and ignore what we did.
Okay.
Right? So there's definitely no accounting for the fact that anything can happen in a Devil May Cry 6, and it doesn't have to at all really consider Devil May Cry 5. But looking at what Devil May Cry 5 tried to do with this dude V that showed up and then went out, and this dude Urizen that showed up and then went out, and then them becoming this one guy that's a callback to what we knew, but also kind of different, and then giving him something that is like, what kind of ending do you deserve as a character? Because I couldn't imagine a better one.
Yes, because if they ended that thing and it's like, okay, well, Vergil, you go on your way and you have a good day and you go open up a shoe store. That'd be fucking weird.
Like the core of why I really like what happened with Vergil overall here is because anything else would be awful. It would be unsatisfying and it would be shit, right? Perhaps the future will undo that in a way that I'll hate. I don't know. But for this purpose, you're tagging out in a right place, because if it was better, he doesn't deserve it, and if it was worse, he doesn't deserve it.
Yeah.
This this weird limbo is exactly what you deserve.
Talk about limbo. You know, that was a city.
Yeah. This weird non-future is exactly what you deserve.
So I just realized that Vergil gets the same ending in both games that he's the primary antagonist. Is that he goes to hell and goes, I'm in hell. Dad was a badass, but I'm a huge badass. I'm gonna do it. And the only difference is in one, it's played as a future loss, and in the other, it's played as a pseudo victory, right? In 3, it's like, oh, he's gonna fucking lose.
Yeah.
And in 5, it's like nothing's gonna stop these two ever.
Oh, no.
Ever, right? Like,
I mean, I like, quite frankly, show me the scene where there are kids playing and they both decide that jackpot's a cool thing to say when they do a team up attack. You know, like. The funny part about the whole, like, man, my dad was the coolest badass ever. I can go surpass him and whatever. And, oh, man, Sparta. Everyone wants to be Sparta. Is that now what we know about Nero proves to you that, guess what? Dante and Vergil are way fucking better than Sparta.
Yeah.
Because they're more human.
Yeah.
And Nero is way better than them because he's more human. And if we just follow that logic all the way through, it's like Sparta, legendary badass.
It is Nero's responsibility to have like a bunch of kids, and they're all going to be the toughest freaks ever.
Sparta, the legendary badass, when push comes to shove, does not have what the others would have, which is the ability to knock that fucking devil trigger up higher and use that human blood to do more. They don't have a human blood generating factory within them, you know? That thing is like that part of the story.
It's really clearly like Saiyan rules, right? It's really
no,
like
because
Mr.
S
Gohan.
Cells is like
Mr. Gohan, man.
S Cells is
no,
weird.
the old Saiyan rules.
That's what I'm saying. S Cells is weird shit we don't know about.
Well, that's
now.
demon juice.
Yeah, well,
it's the same thing.
But no, just the amplifier is what it is.
Yeah.
Right? Which then makes you think, well, hey now, hold on a second. Why wouldn't you just inject a drop of demon blood into someone and see what happens, right?
Yeah.
Fortuna.
That's totally what happened. That's exactly what happened.
Also, what do you think of the fact that Nero's DT looks like a savior?
Well, that comes from like I actually internalized that myself as the reason why the DTs keep changing is what their own perception of the DT should be.
It has to play into it. It has to, right? Because like the simple explanation. And this is exactly like we're
Vergil's
off of it.
genes do not tell him to have a sheath for a specific sword. That's him. He wants it.
There's so much that like the game kind of doesn't even really want you to care about.
Yeah.
But if you were to just kind of go like, let me scratch this for a second. Hold on. What does that act? Why does that look like that? Right? You're going to need a reason for why those devil triggers look different. And the actual reason is because we got a different artist.
Yeah. Or
right?
we wanted to change the design.
Right? Or like, but like the fact that you read that prequel novel and it literally has an explanation for why Ebony and Ivory have the fucking 45 caliber art warks. And why Warks is spelt wrong.
Really?
Yes.
What is the reason?
Because the child, fucking young Nell's kid was so happy and whatever, and like just wrote out like a piece of art and wrote out artworks wrong, and Nell was like, "Oh, that's fucking cute," and decided to actually.
Wow, they
use
really
it.
went ham on tying up loose ends on that.
But that's what I'm trying to say, right? Like the game is aware of the fact that these dumb things that are just actually explained by someone in Japanese didn't know how to write artworks. And then came back this time around.
I still remember when they fucking described the magical nonsense that is why Ebony and Ivory have fucking infinite ammo. And it's like the magic from one gun feeds into the other, and that's why he always fires them sequentially. It's like,
and the whole like, what's up with like what's up with you getting a sword called your dad's name? What's up with other weapons also being demon devil arms? That's okay. Like they actually went to explain these nonsense things that were clearly just dumb mistakes. Right?
I actually think that like because you know like what happened to Sparta.
Yeah.
I think Sparta is the fucking Force Edge. Because what like Devil Sword Sparta, like for most enemies, when they die, you get their devil arm.
After they lose and or concede.
But the Force Edge is the thing that's sealing the two worlds. You know, they're keeping the worlds apart.
But we know that he used his power to split into Rebellion and Yamato before that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So he was a bitch even then.
Who knows?
Man, Sparta was the best. Oh man, he's a weird bug man.
Oh god, are we gonna get a phantom pain for Sparta to find out he was actually just a piece of shit the whole time?
Yeah, he totally was a big piece of shit. He sent a letter to Arkham, and he's like, "I need you to do some shit in 2,000 years."
So all I wanted to say is that like, there's lots of little things that we're seeing here that they took into consideration that are like not the obvious things the game is showing you, but they still thought about it enough to kind of go like, yeah, but we wanted to do this, right? To the point where when we say things like the reason why Nero's ghost devil trigger is floating next to him, the actual reason is just because it looks cool from an artistic point of view. That's it. It looks rad.
Cool. It's man, it's
but
dope.
the thought that you can retroactively go, oh, the knowledge now that Yamato splits things means we can retroactively say that he got stabbed and it split him. That's not why they did it at the time.
No, but you can totally see like that's his devil trigger floating outside of his fucking body.
They partially separated.
But because
from him.
Nero isn't like a fucking crazy asshole, it didn't turn into two different people.
So that's what it is. And I think that every one of those points as well has the same plausible deniability.
Yeah.
But what they did with this ending, if you look at it in the same way where you go, maybe not, but based on what you probably want to do here with these characters, it's like, yeah, you did the right thing.
Yeah.
You know? And Dante, in the meantime, what kind of ending does he get? Well, the fucking best one. He gets to have his brother back.
Yeah, who? Yeah, pizza.
The only
pizza
thing,
is a brother.
Right. The thing that he actually cares about.
Yeah.
You know? For better and for worse.
But he doesn't. But he does.
And we'll see.
But there's no pizza in hell, Wooly.
There is no pizza in hell.
Dude,
okay.
Yeah. DMC 6?
Yeah.
That needs to be why.
Like, dude,
there's no pizza in hell.
That's the reason why.
100%.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You couldn't do it.
We fought for like a year and a half, and that was pretty cool. No pizza.
Mm-hmm. That sucks. That totally sucks. Yeah. 100% agreed.
Oh, that'd be fucking... That, so I want that, but because Nero is like a straight man in 5. Like, he is a normal person almost, with everyone else being fucking cartoons.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's stupid. You're stupid.
Oh man, what would Kyrie think if she saw this?
So I need Dante to come back and be like, I came back for the pizza, and Nero to be like, you're an idiot. You are a stupid man, Dante.
Either that or just the eye roll and there it is.
Yeah,
you know, you know his fucking shabby ass clothes and shitty look is all based on the fact that
they're poor because they take care of orphans.
They're too busy helping orphans.
Yeah.
Which, when you read the book, that's the first thing that comes up is like, or even in that cutscene where she's like, oh yeah, Kyrie is making food. Mm-hmm. Random, dark, weird stranger.
Come on in, man.
Right, giving off a menacing vibe. Come in, have some food. You look like you could use it.
Also, it's like, what does Nero have to feel from a random hobo for real?
Of course,
like,
exactly.
I mean,
exactly. Which is why it's like through and through and through, you're good people.
Yeah.
You're good people.
Like, and you know, because like, there's no wedding band on Nero's finger, right? Mm-hmm. So that means there's absolutely no chance of the Nero children in any near time frame.
Not unless they jump.
What with Kyrie being a good Fortuna church-going folk.
No, not unless they skip forward.
Yeah. Well, that's what the Sweet Surrender's for.
So
it's for the Lord.
So that's what I'm
Sweet Surrender was made for the Lord.
Okay, first of all, we don't know that weird praying Fortuna bullshit doesn't requires matrimony.
She's basically a nun, man.
She is, but we don't know the requirements. Also, I'm going to go ahead and say that the last remaining few believers that got impaled by the Qliphoth might have probably convinced the rest to kind of give it up.
You know what I think? I think Nero is, and Kyrie, they have to wait till marriage. And the reason why, despite Sweet Surrender, is that Nico made Sweet Surrender for Nero.
Yes.
And she constantly fucks with him. So she
you think she made it?
I think she just made it.
And he's not using
and just
it?
threw it down at him. And he was like, Jesus Christ,
Nah,
Nico.
he'll take that shit to the void. See the abilities he figured out how to use with it. It's all there. He knows how to use it.
Nah.
He has used it.
Nah, that's the Fortuna. Do you think Kyrie still believes in the Savior?
Actually, here's two things. One, he never got a chance to use it because he grew his arm back before he got back home.
That's true.
Yeah. So she made it for him out on the battlefield.
Yeah.
And he got back before he needed it.
He's like, you'll need this. And he's like, fuck off, Nico.
Yeah. He fucking grew that shit back. And two, no. In fact, I think Kyrie fucking abandoned the church and all of that shit. Right?
Because that'd be stupid.
Yeah. I think they came out of there going, man, it sucks that we were raised in this bullshit. And I think they're kind of like behind that. That's in their past. And the few devout weirdos that get impaled.
You don't think that's just some Woolie projecting?
I want to say that Kyrie probably came past that because, quite frankly, right, going on the prequel information from 4 as well, like the fact that and this is also why it's so good when they handle this as well in 5, and I'm so happy that they did. Credo matters. Credo matters a lot.
It was baffling in 4 that they just kind of he died, I guess.
Credo matters a lot, and remember how I pointed out like Dante and Lady and Trish standing around being like,
I guess he died, huh?
That sucks. Oh, anyway, let's go get that fuck, But meanwhile, like dude got Nero got sucked in as it was going down kind of way. Like that was a way bigger deal for him. The Kirito is the Sasuke he grew up with.
Yeah.
Right? If you want to throw that out there.
Awful.
Well, you don't want... It's his Vergil then. It's his kid, dude. You know? And
he died because he was a bitch.
And Kiryu was affected by that as well. And the fact that comes back to be like, man, you know what sucks? Fucking Kirito dying sucks.
That sucked.
And he brings that up.
He did a face turn.
And he brings that up, and like Kiryu's on the phone like, yeah, I know. Like, you think Kiryu is going to continue believing in the thing that killed her brother?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, horseshit.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what they need to do in the next game? They just need to put, Nero's character model, just put a ring on his finger. Don't talk about it. Have the same scenes with Kiryu or whatever. Just put rings on their fingers.
Right? You know what you're doing?
What's that?
If I was standing at the Vatican with the bodies of various cardinals at my feet, demon malfested cardinals, and Steph's hanging around, and you're going, and I'm like, hey, wow, that was kind of crazy, huh? And she's like, yeah, let's get out of here.
It's time for the Fortuna Reformation.
And I'm walking out of the fucking bloody Vatican. And you're going, I wonder if Woolie still believes.
I
wonder if they still... Like,
I wonder.
The ending of 4 is literally them stepping over the bodies, hand in hand, right?
Woolie?
Chappelle walking slowly over the dead bodies.
They are listening to a Fortuna-esque preacher on the fucking radio in the fucking first thing in the game.
And he turns it off.
Yeah, he turns it off.
That shit's
maybe that's because he's so sick of hearing that shit at home.
No, but the people but the weird Fortuna people that get stabbed clearly exist.
Yeah,
there's a radio station for them.
Yeah,
that's not Kyrie.
Maybe she runs it.
Maybe fuck off.
Kyrie is so invested that she's siphoning orphanage money for Fortuna Radio.
The orphans
up north.
The orphans are literally people whose parents died in that event.
Yeah.
Kids who
it was all for a reason for Savior.
Kids who were made orphans by the Savior are their life's work, and you think their dedication to those kids is not coming from a place where they're like, man, that sucked.
Listen.
Sorry for the bad rap.
I know the Savior's real.
We got some food here.
I'm his grandnephew. Oh, no, grandson. Grandson. Why nephew? I put...
Yeah. Only assholes still pray to the demons and Sparta. And they're done. They're out. They're atheists now.
in the demon world.
Nero and Kyrie are atheists. Damn it! I won't have it any other way.
He's glowing with demonic power.
You can say what the fuck you will about me and my V Urizen story, but I will not have you telling me that Nero and Kyrie believe. Fuck you.
She's probably just a chaste lady wants to save it till the marriage.
That's kind of what happens anyway.
Yeah.
You grow out. Guess what?
Yeah.
Right? You grow out of the church.
You grow out of the specific rule set, but you retain the
core,
the feel,
and the overall, like, you know, the thing that's inside that goes, hey, you know, it's still probably a good idea to be a good person.
Yeah.
Yeah, that comes from Bible.
Yeah.
But then I go, well, okay, but fuck the actual Bible part of it.
Like,
but I still see the core of why that's a good idea.
You ever think that like Sparta and Ava were like the shittiest parents ever, and taught their kids a bunch of shitty lessons?
I mean, demons are attacking, hide in the closet is a pretty shitty escape plan.
It's when the house is burning down, hide in the closet.
Notice that,
bitch, are you for real?
Notice that she got 4 steps out the door.
She dies instantly.
Like, unless the scream is premature, and then it's one of those, oh, she gets pulled somewhere, and then Dino Hell happens, and she's wondering why. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, unless you establish more on that cutscene, it seems to imply that she takes 4 steps out from the room that Dante is hiding in and gets ganked. And the only thing Dante didn't hear was an announcer going, sadistic smoking sick style.
So, like,
because she gets quadruple S.
That cutscene is like the single most important thing that ever happened in Devil May Cry, right? Is Ava's death, which starts everything rolling. The way it's directed, I laughed. Like, it's slapstick. The way she goes out the door and dies like that. Like, she dies instantly.
You want to talk about, like, keeping shit vague for not trampling on the future's purposes.
You never actually see her fucking die.
You have no idea. So, do we want to introduce someone that specifically killed her later that's not Mundus or whatever the fuck, right? Whatever the case is.
It appears that Dante and Vergil's revenge should have been, like, fucking focused around fire safety. Be cool about fire safety.
I will picture, if you will, a huddling Dante in his closet with the crack of the fucking light of the roaring flames outside, and he's hearing the battle music slowly get lyrics because Ava's getting styled on so hard that whatever demon is doing it is just juggling the corpse with new weapons and crazy sword trick, gun, sword trick.
Oh, that was one of my favorite stupid memes, which was like throwing people's like confused faces, and it's like demon when you hear sword trick, gun trick, whirl in the distance.
Oh.
So DMC5's okay. It's all right.
Starts hearing music because he's doing the extended dance taunt.
Yeah.
It's like, why won't the battle end?
Did you see
Hide
the
in that
endings
closet,
of Bloody
Dante.
Palace?
Not yet.
They do something crazy with some of that.
I saw there's some insane animations.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's animations that are like, one's cheeky and one is cheekier and one is like, oh.
I think I saw a spoiler one in the form of V.
Okay. You saw V's and like his yeah, okay.
I saw V taking out Vergil.
So like I'm just gonna talk about what those are because if we're in the DMC5 spoiler cast,
yeah.
like so the endings of Bloody Palace are cool animations. That it's like Dante goes, "Ha! I'm the best," and he has a big heart behind him, and then he slicks his hair back like Vergil from DMC3.
Oh, fun!
And and it stays, and and it's like, oh, they are twins. It's just the hair makes a bigger difference, right?
Wait, but Dante's face.
Dante and Vergil's faces are the same.
Are they?
Yeah, they totally are.
I mean, they were before, but
they are
here in this game too.
Yeah, when he slicks his hair back, it's like, oh, that's Vergil. Oh. It's really wild. And
it really doesn't feel like it.
And fucking Kylo Ren's. Sorry.
But the face model I saw was very clearly this one actor, and
they're not.
They show you the side by side of the face model
they're
being
twins.
a different
they
guy.
They should be the same, asshole.
But it's not.
Anyway, fine, they're different. But he looks just like Vergil with the hair. Okay. With V, he has the special kill against Vergil where he stabs him, but then he also has like he turns the cane into a lightsaber and swings it around.
Okay.
Right? But Nero's is he puts his hoodie on and his eyes go demon and he goes, "Now I'm the one with power," in a demon voice.
Whoa, okay.
And the best thing about that is that when you beat Bloody Palace, you get those as taunts.
Yeah, okay.
And you get Demon Nero as a character when you do that taunt. You get Slickback Dante when you do that taunt.
And it stays until he gets hit?
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's cool. I fucking love that. Well, although Lightsaber Cane stays.
No, it doesn't stay, but it has a hitbox.
When he swings it?
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
fine.
so stupid.
That's fun.
It's very Kylo Ren-ish.
Yeah, man. So, this we said it before or whatever, like who knows where this goes or what this does or whatever. Like quite frankly, if you're gonna go somewhere, the fact that they said they'd probably stay out of hell is probably a good idea. Or they didn't say that, but they said to the end of the story or whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course,
it's the end of the Sons of Sparta.
And of course, all you can do with that is just blatantly lie and then bring expectations and whatever the fuck. But it'd be cooler if you didn't. It'd be cooler if you let it.
Very excited for the special edition that'll add, obviously, 3 more characters.
They're making money.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, obviously, but I did not expect there to be, like, any meat whatsoever to the story.
Yeah.
And
there was.
There actually was.
I completely agree.
And I really, really am like, expectations exceeded in that respect as well. And I'm not going to sit here and say that it's a filet mignon, but like based on what
it's still
thought
a dumb
I was getting,
story about devil.
Oh yeah. But based on what I thought I was getting, I was really like, oh wow, especially when it comes to V. But I thought it was important to get out there that me, someone who is known as the biggest Vergil mark out there, 1,000% will sit here and tell you that V is a better character.
You know what they've totally done, right?
Vergil
They
is.
can easily, and I mean easily, run it forward and just have Vergil act like V in the future.
Absolutely.
They can just have Daniel Southward just reading William Blake poetry.
If they wanted to show you him embracing that side of him more and learning that the Urizen side is kind of worth nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing worthwhile there at all.
Yeah.
Right? And like, yeah, just that like there's only that's the only conclusion you can have if you bring both sides of that multiple man back together, and you're forcing them to if you're forcing V to sit in a chair with Urizen and have a conversation.
So
who's actually going to have more points to make?
I just had the best idea based on something that you said in the LP. So Goth Kid turns weeaboo when he sees the katana, right? What if instead of William Blake poetry, Vergil starts writing bad haikus?
So he starts making his own?
Yeah, he's a bad weeaboo poet.
That'd be hilarious. That'd be very funny.
And everyone is like, oh. And he's like, no, but my poems though, guys.
But it's too late because he's already doing the sword flicks like the light rail Avenger.
Yeah.
And he's also been given
wow. There's a poll.
And he's also been given a reason to because the fucking Japanese sword came from his dad.
I don't know if you know this, but Sparta invented Japan.
It came from his dad. His dad just go forth and be a weeb, son.
Yes.
Hey, other son, rock on with this Western shit. Dark Souls, Sekiro. He fucking gave it to them.
Really,
you know, what chance did you
There's
have?
that line that Vergil says, like, what if our paths were switched? And all I can think of is, like, I want to see evil rockin' Dante and heroic, noble, like, weeaboo Vergil.
Yeah.
And in my mind, that actually is, like, that's much more common.
Yes.
I feel.
Well, yeah, well, that just becomes,
every anime ever.
Yeah, where the hero is stoic and the villain is wild.
Yeah.
Right? That becomes, like, not the, yeah, that's your blue Oni hero and your red Oni villain.
Yeah.
Is all. As we race to try and think of examples.
Yeah, you know
fall
what
short.
I'm talking about.
And
Remember
fall
when
short.
Mugen was the villain of Samurai Champloo?
I mean,
I do.
Brandon Heat is the
Brandon
blue Oni,
Heat,
and
mean,
Harry McDougal is the red Oni.
Devil May Cry is stupid.
It was great.
So I think that the most
Raiden and Sam.
I think the best compliment you can give to a universe is that I want to see what it looks like when nothing's going on. Like I think the of a fictionalized like action universe, I think the best compliment you can give it is that I desperately want to see what is up when nothing is bad is happening.
I think you get a couple glimpses. I think you get the glimpse when the news is covering.
No, but like I would watch a
first
sitcom in the Devil May Cry universe because it's so stupid.
I think you get a glimpse when Virgil's walking down the streets of Fortuna and the lady in red turns to look at him.
She in red?
She's wearing
Is she
literally
lady in red?
pinkish red thing
Oh man.
with a white. You never did it? Yeah. The whole
That's funny.
there's a bunch of people walking around doing the church thing.
And she's like, "Oh, that cloak guy's hot."
Yeah, and then them driving down the streets of fucking Red Grave.
I just saw
the ending.
I just saw the stupidest thing in the chat, and I'm pissed.
What?
Because it makes me giggle. It's like, you know who that lady in red was?
What?
Jeanne.
Jean. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that comic. What? There's all the comics now in the mods. What?
Did you see fucking
Probably
Sei's
yes.
original design in Persona 5? How it's literally just Bayonetta?
Oh no.
Yeah, fucking.
Didn't see that.
It's ridiculous.
What city did DMC3 take place in?
City.
The
The city that Devil May Cry is in.
Where is that? Is that Redgrave?
I guess it would be.
The Dante's shop is there. Does that mean that's where it does? Or what?
I guess everything happens in Redgrave.
Is that the same shop or not? What about when in 4 when the streets we got on that same street, but we're seeing the new version of it that they come flying out of and they do the fucking jackpot pose?
Oh, fucking...
What street? Where is that? Did the Temen Negru literally pop out of the ground down the block in Redgrave not but 20 years ago?
Yeah, totally. For real. I'm trying to find this design. I'm not finding it.
You're not finding it.
Yeah, it's just Bayonetta. It's literally just Bayonetta.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's where I'll leave it. Extraordinarily happy with that conclusion.
It's a very good game.
Yeah.
It's a very good game.
And
I eagerly await for Resident Evil. I guess it kind of did, but not quite. RE7 did the same thing, where it's like it kind of reset everything back to a state where like we can keep going now, but then they did a remake, so it's like it didn't really move forward at all. But
I've already said my bit on this, and people really hated it, so I don't need to go back there.
what's that?
That I think it's fine to end it, but you know.
Oh, people hated that.
Yeah, everyone really hates when I say that because they're like, "But I want more." And
Well,
I'm,
yeah,
and
so
I'm
me
like,
too.
I know, me too.
But it can end on a nice note instead of a.
Well, because like everything else, I hate.
Hey, by the way,
I hate repeating this because it's just more. It's just like it's the whole like, yes, Woolie, go on about the anthologies again. We know
about the anthology.
I know. I just think I have faith in the people that made it to make other things that are just as great.
Here's the thing, though, is that, and this is a thing, is because it's a game, like the gameplay aspect, like Devil May Cry gameplay.
Yeah.
I care way more about that continuing than Dante or Nero or any of those fucking people. You know,
100%, right? But like that mentality doesn't give you Bloodborne. That mentality doesn't give you Bayonetta.
You're right.
That mentality doesn't give you the new thing you didn't know you wanted, but you.
It also doesn't give you DMC Devil May Cry.
It also doesn't give you that.
And that's
it also doesn't give you that. But we know about this firsthand
because losses feel stronger than wins.
Yes, and I told but when the new thing is there, boy, is it exciting when you had no idea, right? And I had this talk with a lot of this was part of what me and Spy sat down and talked about.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of this what we just went over, but a big part of it is like this feeling about like not necessarily wanting to let the old thing go. Is a bit of it ties into somewhat how how when we're playing current thing, the biggest request is for current thing part 2.
Yeah.
And as
videos, we're talking about videos and shit.
And deep down that you actually don't really care. Like you can get current thing part 2. But what you're not asking for is thing you never thought you'd get that's really cool after this. But you know what ends up happening? Thing you never thought you'd get that turns out to be really exciting is what you go, oh, fuck, and now you're on board with that.
And here's where
then you stop asking for other thing part 2.
Here's where the poison comes.
What's up?
All right. I beat Dark Souls 3. I'm like, I don't have to ever play a Dark Souls game again. Right? This is good. Right? Give me Bloodborne 2, though. And like... the feeling of, I could go for something new, got translated to, I want the part 2 of the other new thing. So when Sekiro got announced originally, all me and Paige are going, Bloodborne 2? Oh, it's Sekiro. Oh, that's cool. So Bloodborne 2, though.
Bloodborne is in a place where I would say that's a world and setting that deserves more exploration.
Well, guess what? In my headcanon, Sekiro is Bloodborne 2. Because there's the tiniest little,
but like all that to say that like there is definitely a difference that like blows up what I'm talking about when you're talking about something that's had a chance to be fully explored versus one, and or like if there's a timeline where you've jumped around to multiple parts and then created like a comprehensive look like Metal Gear, which decides to pull itself all over the timeline. As opposed to something that had one entry one time with one thing. So, you know what? And Bloodborne was one entry one time with one thing.
Let's take Devil May what you're saying about DMC 5 and let's compare it to fucking Metal Gear. When Metal Gear 4 came out, I had that exact feeling of like, I can be done with this. I would be excited for a new game, but I can absolutely be done with MGS4 as the ending, right? And then we got another one, and we got excited, and boy, I wish that MGS4 was the ending, right? It would bum me the fuck out if Devil May Cry 6 was the Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes fucking...
You didn't need to keep going, but you did?
You didn't need... It didn't need to exist. Yeah. It really did.
That would be sad. And it would be extra sad if you knew that you got something that was like, this is fun and very different, and would have been fine if it weren't called Devil May Cry 6.
And that
sentiment would suck.
Someone in the chat just fixed the problem and said, but Rising was sick, though. Yeah, it was. And so let's get our goddamn Ladies of Devil May Cry spin-off game that doesn't need to have fuck to do with shit.
Just go elsewhere.
And, right?
Yeah, I agree. Spin-offs are not necessary. Spin-offs are not the same as the sequels. You can go elsewhere.
Yeah,
and still explore. And I completely agree with that.